Hello my beautiful Scorpios and welcome. This video is just for you. My name is Ariane. You are on my channel Neptunian Serenity. Welcome or welcome back. And today we're doing a tarot love reading for Scorpio's Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So welcome, I'm excited to be doing this for you. I've been doing like the whole zodiac series. I started in the backwards order, so I've been doing it from Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, Sagittarius, and then you. And I haven't done zodiac series nor love readings in a while on my channel. But I recorded what I feel called to do and the types of messages I feel called to deliver, and that what was coming up in like last week I think is when I started, and I felt that I needed to do every single sign. So we're doing you Scorpios today. Great. Yeah, so obviously you can check your other signs as well if you'd like to, and I'm gonna link like the playlist where all the videos are from this series in the description of the video. But okay, let's get into your reading. So I pre-pulled this oracle card right here, and I didn't look at it. Well, obviously there's the image here, but there's writing on the back, and I didn't look at. So we're gonna start with that, and then we're gonna pull some like tarot cards and really get into all of it. So let's see. It says, do not make decisions based on guilt or on what you think you have to do, because it's only when being honest and authentic to yourself that you can be with others. Okay, so authenticity. And also a theme of your relationship with yourself can be a reflection of the relationship that you're capable of having with others here, right? So we're gonna pull some tarot now and just see, see what the Spirit wants you to know regarding your love life at the time that you are watching this. So what does Scorpio need to know about their love life, please, Spirit? By the way, all the decks I'm using today will be listed down below as well. I always do that. Oh, okay, interesting. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, there you go. Let's pull it down a bit. Okay, so here we have Justice in reverse, clarified by the Eight of Voices. We have the Eight of Materials, which is Pentacles, clarified by the Two of Voices. We have the Three of Emotions, clarified by the Knight of Voices. Strength, clarified by the Five of Inspiration, which are Wands. And lastly, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Fool. And I want to say, like, I have another tarot deck ready for this reading that we're probably going to use later as well. And when I was shuffling that one, I also saw the Ace of Cups. So, like, multiple cards here of, like, potential new beginning, or at least, like, a new cycle. Also, I want to mention, like, sometimes, like, because of my, like, psychic gifts, I will, like, channel the energy of someone kind of randomly. Like, I'll hear a name or something, I'll get some like info, and I kind of just write it down. And last night I got like Sophia Maria, something Sophia, or like, so I don't know if your name is Sophia Maria and you find this, you can contact me if you'd like by email, or it could be like someone that you know that isn't here anymore. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, PSA, that was it. So I'm hearing a switch needs to happen. A switch needs to happen. I think, like, yeah, hitting a wall. That, yeah. I think a lot of you are already in a relationship, those of you who are watching, and you just keep hitting the same obstacle and running in circles, and it's starting to become a really big problem, and you're starting to feel like you could lose your partner, or you could really mess up the relationship so much that you have no choice but to end it, and that's not really what you want, but your ego does not want to die. This is about ego death. Yes, this is about, yeah. I'm seeing like, it's kind of an intense image, but this is Scorpio after all. I'm seeing like the image of like, it's not a person or anything, it's not too gross the way I'm seeing it, but like when someone is, or something, let's say something has been being burned, and it's just like screaming until it stops because it's fully burned, right? That's kind of like your ego right now. Your ego doesn't want to get burned. Your ego wants to be intact. Your ego doesn't want to be bothered. And I do want to say, like, clarify that the ego is not, it has a very kind of negative connotation, especially in the spiritual community, but it's not like a bad thing. We all need our ego. Our ego is what makes us human. Our ego is what makes us individuals, and not just like energies that merge with other people's all the time, right? Our ego is what allows us to understand that, like, oh, although I am connected energetically and emotionally to other people and nature and all of that, and I can feel like we are one, my ego is what helps me understand that, like, I have my body, and that is me. I'm also like one individual person, and we absolutely need that, because that's what our human experience is about, right? If we, I don't know, if we become like starseeds or something after we die, then maybe we don't need an ego, because we don't need, like, we don't have a separate body, or, you know, but the human experience includes understanding and navigating individuality and collectivity at the same time. So our ego helps us with that. And our ego also helps us with protecting ourselves and also asserting ourselves and just figuring out who we are as an individual when there might be moments when we disagree with the collective or the people around us. So I wanted to clarify that. But your ego right now is kind of causing you problems, okay? And the thing I'm seeing is that you're really strongly identifying with your ego. You think that you are your ego because your ego is kind of ruling over you, essentially, or it's making a lot of the decisions in your life, or it always, if you kind of see the different parts of your personality as like different little beings, like Inside Out. I mean, I didn't watch that movie, admittedly, not yet, but like I know that there's many different little characters with the different emotions. If you kind of picture the different parts of your personality as different little characters, and every time you make a decision they're having like a round table about it, it's as if like your ego would always have the veto on every single decision and would very often use it, but it's kind of sabotaging many of the other parts of your personality that don't necessarily want this, or that don't feel that this is authentic to them and who they want to be and the type of life that they want to have. Yes, so you are kind of your own little demon right now, Scorpio. You are kind of in your own way, or at least your ego is, but it is part of you. So again, this is also not about rejecting or villainizing your ego, because your ego is part of you. And yes, you know, okay, now that's kind of my personal opinion, but you know, in the spiritual community as well, a lot of people talk about transcending the ego, or like ascending and all those types of things, and I think that's bullshit, honestly, like because as I said earlier, I think the ego is important and has a strong role and is essential to our human experience, and that we can only transcend it in death. Okay, we can only transcend our ego in our human body like when we die, because we leave our body, we leave our ego, and then we just keep like our soul. And that's how it's meant to happen. But when we are humans, we are meant to kind of go meet our ego and befriend our ego and integrate it, synthesize it within ourselves, and not like reject it or villainize it. Yeah. I feel like you're kind of at war within yourself, and if you are in a relationship, which I think you are, so I'm gonna do the reading as if you are, okay? But I think your partner doesn't understand this, or they just feel like you're kind of chaotic, or you're kind of, they can tell that like something's going on that's kind of weird and intense and not really good for you, but they don't really fully understand, which, you know, they probably can't. that's not their role either, especially if you don't talk about it, but they kind of feel like something's up with you and you need to figure it out. They may have said this exact sentence to you and you felt hurt or you felt like abandoned or you're like, well, help me with this. But it's like, no, like although you do deserve help and you can get it, like you need help from people like spiritual advisors, spiritual counselors, therapists, coaches, or people like me, right, in a tarot reading. But like doing like one-on-one consultation with like a professional could be helpful because like your partner or your family, your friends don't necessarily have like the capacity or the competences to help you with this. This is kind of like your own path. So you do need to figure it out by yourself, but it doesn't mean that you have to do it all alone. Okay. I was kind of channeling all of that. That's why it came through really quickly. I did that in the last reading as well in Sagittarius. It's a really great way to start. Interesting. Yes. Okay. So I don't think that the Fool for you is necessarily about like a new relationship or leaving the relationship and becoming single. Not necessarily, because I think most of you want to stay with this person, and I'm kind of getting that you will figure it out, or that it is like solvable, like it's not like doomed, right? Like he can still kind of save it, to say it like that. But it's like a new cycle needs to start, a new beginning within this relationship and with yourself as well. Yeah. But this requires a lot of strength, which is why we have this card here. And it makes so much sense because this card, I don't know if you have Leo placements as well, because Leo, the whole relationship, mastering and synthesizing the relationship with the ego is a very important kind of life mission and pattern and path for Leos. Okay, Leo placements, but you don't have to. Like certainly, like Scorpio can definitely be linked to ego as well, especially because it's also a fixed sign. So meaning that for you, change is not like the thing you like the most, to say it like that. And you can be stubborn when you've decided that something is this way, or right, something like that. But the Strength card is about kind of, you know, the woman here represents, or kind of more conscious, human, softer side, more lighter side, and then the lion represents the kind of the beast within us, or primal instincts, or subconscious, or shadow side. And the Strength card is not about taming the lion forcefully or violently or forcing it to obey to us. It's about integrating it and accepting both parts of ourselves and having that balance, which you're lacking right now, which is why we have the Justice card in reverse. You are lacking balance within yourself, the different parts of yourself. Yes, and you might want to look into psychosynthesis, by the way, because it has like parts work and ego work, and it's literally synthesis in the term, and it's the type of coaching that I'm trained in professionally. So if you want coaching about this, you can absolutely book that with me or someone else. But even if you don't, like, I recommend maybe you can look into it and read a book about it, and maybe that could be helpful for you. Yeah. Okay. What else? I actually feel called to read from the booklet about the Five of Inspiration, which we have right here. This is the Five of Wands, and obviously I know like the traditional meaning of it, but when I feel called to read from the booklet, which is not super often, that's usually because there's a specific message in it that I wouldn't necessarily pick up on it otherwise, that needs to be said or can be interesting for you. So let's see. Keywords of the Five of Inspiration is rivalry, challenges, comparisonitis, a need to collaborate, infighting or trying to outdo one another, friendly competition. And it says, the muse looks down at the rivalry below, the pushing and the pulling, the comparisons, the not enoughs. Sometimes she sees competition that hurts, and sometimes she witnesses healthy and productive competition. competition that motivates. She hopes to eliminate both the positive and negative effects that these challenges can have on your life. Find opportunities to work with others for the common good and engage in friendly competition that serves as a catalyst for your success. How do you compete in life? Do you lead with your ideas, your feelings, your charm, deep conversation, or perhaps it's your sexuality? Distinguish the type of competition that makes you a brighter light from that which dampens your ability to shine. Use this muse's sacred mirrors to see that the most important person you compete with is yourself. All the external competition in the world cannot demonstrate your innate worth. You are already deserving of your own highest accolades and love. A war of bodies, brains, and poses to win the titles, names, and roses. And in the end, we give too much of our own souls and joys and such. Wow, yeah, okay, I love that I read that. And it mentioned muses because this is the Muse Tarot, so that's kind of like the concept. Yeah, you were competing with yourself, first of all, and that's kind of the energy you need to be in. I think that you're a very competitive, ambitious, fearless, and fierce person, which makes sense with the Scorpio, and that's not like a bad thing, but you're using these qualities in areas of your life where they're not necessary. It's like, instead of being like tapping into this strength, competitive energy like at work to get the promotion above someone else, you do it by like arguing with your partner when you come back home at night over something that's like meaningless or it's like not important. But your ego is like, no, this is important. We have to win the argument. We have to win where we decide that we go eat out tonight, or we have to win this or that. And it's like misplaced. It's misplaced and it's affecting your relationship. And also a reminder that like it's gonna be much easier, healthier, and make you happier to view it as like competing with yourself. It's a great thing to be ambitious, but if you're using it to compensate for an inner feeling of not being enough or not being deserving of love and happiness and what you desire, then it's not going to be a healthy expression of that. Yeah. Just strive to do better than your past self. That's already a great goal. Yeah. With the 8 of Voices underneath the Justice in reverse, I mean, look at this card. That's kind of how you feel internally right now. You have a lot of fears. There's something about the fear of being seen, okay? And that is definitely something that comes up with the archetype of Scorpio a lot. So I'm not surprised to see this here. Your ego also has a task to protect you. And sometimes it can do so in a healthy, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Productive way. And sometimes it's doing so in a way that doesn't serve you. And right now it doesn't serve you because the thing is your ego, when I was talking at the beginning about how your ego is kind of like at the forefront of your personality, it's kind of the one that has the reins of the whole chariot, if the chariot is like yourself, and it's kind of like always has the veto on every single decision that you make. The reason why your ego takes things in charge and has to feel like it's always in power and always in control is because the other parts of you that are more vulnerable and more authentic to who you are, right? Remember we talked about authenticity at the very beginning, are actually scared of being seen because they don't feel like they're enough, or they don't feel lovable, or there's some kind of insecurity or lack of self-love, or just something like that, okay? There are fears here, and that's why your ego is like, I'm gonna be so strong and so like smart and so ambitious and so good at my job that like no one will ever focus on anything else about me, and they'll just think I'm so, they're either gonna think I'm so cool that they're never gonna think anything bad of me, or they're gonna think I'm so intimidating that they're not even going to approach me and try to see me. So I'm gonna be safe. That's kind of what your ego is thinking. And this is why you don't feel really fulfilled with the life that you're leading, because it's just not authentic to all the other parts of yourself, okay? Yeah. I also think you could have a pattern of being a workaholic. with the Eight of Materials, okay? And the Eight of Materials isn't always about this. Also, I love the imagery of this card. But with the Two of Swords in reverse here underneath it, if you can see like the imagery of this card, to me this is like whenever someone asks you to do something at work, or whenever you get asked to do something, or you get like given a new opportunity, you always take it, you always say yes without even thinking about it. It's like, you know, a lot of people struggle with overthinking when they make decisions. You actually struggle with underthinking. That's not a dig, because it's not because you're not capable of thinking. It's not that you're not smart. It's just that you're like, yes, like you're very impulsive with it. And sometimes you end up in places and situations that are not really serving you and that are not really making you happy, but then you already said yes, you already signed the contract, so you just have to do it. I think that you also have like an internalized fear of like not having enough money, and that's kind of why you take on every single thing that is suggested to you, because like it's like you would rather have like three jobs at once than have like one job that pays enough, but there's a risk that if I ever get fired from this job, I would have nothing else. So oh my god, I need to have other things going on to feel safe. And that's really an illusion, okay? Safety comes from within, and safety cannot, your sense of safety cannot depend on things that you don't control, like whether or not someone will fire you, which I mean, I guess it can be within your control sometimes, but not always, right? Because then like people have a lot of power over you. Okay. With the Three of Emotions and the Knight of Voices here, I'm seeing that your partner is very open to talking, and your friends are also very open to having like a deep, authentic, emotional discussion about all of this with you. Okay? Yeah, it's like you have their heart. They love you a lot, and they want to offer you the world, but not when you're not offering them the world in return or something like this, okay? But, and this is also a sign that with the Knight of Voices, this is a very honest energy, so you can trust what they say, okay? Maybe sometimes you're trying to like double take or like psychoanalyze. What are they saying? Why are they saying that? What are their true motives? Which is very Scorpio as well. So it's kind of like, because you're a Scorpio, it can kind of just happen naturally. It's just something that you do. But this is like a confirmation. You can trust what they say. They say what they think. They say what they feel. I think they're really good at expressing their emotions and verbalizing them. And you're like, wow. And you're kind of intimidated. And I think that's why sometimes you're like, oh, they're obviously lying, because how could they be so calm and so articulate when they're talking about their feelings? Because you can't imagine being able to do that yourself. But they can. Okay, and you could as well. Okay, I do see this energy as well, being like, you have the potential to reach this capacity eventually as well if you work on it. Okay, let's pull more cards now. Let's pull more cards. I'm gonna ask, what can Scorpio do to kind of overcome this fear? Oh wow. Yeah, I saw this card also when I shuffled, so I'm not surprised that it's here. Also, I kind of mentioned, look, two major arcanas kind of mentioned the Chariot earlier, so there you go. What can Scorpios do to overcome this fear? Because from what I'm getting, like, you want to make whatever situation you're in or whatever relationship you may be in, this could even be a friendship. It's like you want to make it work. You don't want to give up on it. You're kind of panicking right now because you're like, oh no, am I going to lose them? I think they're really upset with me now. I think they've reached their limit, kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is a pattern that has happened before. That someone kind of, you were really in love at first, both of you, and really like onto each other. I mean, onto each other is not the right term, but then like you feel like you kind of sabotaged it, or just something could not be resolved, an issue could not be resolved, and obviously it was not just your fault, but I think you see that way. and you kind of feel like, if only I didn't have all this trauma or all these issues or all this whatever, and you feel like it was your fault that you got heartbroken. Yeah. See, I just put the deck, Ace of Cups. That's what I saw. Yes, and then Five of Pentacles in reverse on the bottom of the deck. All is not lost, okay? This is not, do not give up. First of all, do not give up. Some of you are already pessimistic when you're finding this video and you're already like, maybe I should stop trying and just let it go because I'm not going to be capable of saving it, salvaging it. We're not going to be capable of doing that. And it's like, no. No, 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 no. Okay, if this was upwards, yeah, I just split the deck. Look, Eight of Pentacles. Working on things, okay? Putting effort into it. You can make this work still. So if you want to make it work, you can. And let's do it. Don't give up now. Here we have the Chariot clarified by the Princess of Cups, which is the page. We have the Hermit clarified by the King of Pentacles in reverse. Again, we're seeing kind of a distorted or unhealthy energy around career and finances. We have the Six of Cups clarified by the Three of Swords, which is kind of what I was talking about, of like this happened in the past. Having a loving relationship and then just that being followed by heartbreak. And that's really scary. And you're kind of, you don't want to do a self-fulfilling prophecy with this again. Here we have the Five, because you're kind of, yeah, you kind of started being pessimistic and expecting the worst because of this has happened to you before, whether consciously or unconsciously. I'm telling you this so that you're aware. And also to remind you that this is not the same situation. It's not the same things that are at play. It's not the same things. It's not the same context, the same person. They're not going to react the same way, etc. We have the Five of Wands in reverse clarified by the Star in reverse. We have the King of Cups clarified by the Ten of Cups. Last but not least, great cards to end on. Okay, so let's see. You kind of have to take a leap of faith. With the Chariot being the first card that comes through here, you kind of have to take a leap of faith, okay? And with the Princess of Cups in reverse, this is a really sweet energy for you, and it kind of confirms, I think, what I've been sensing or what I've been talking about, and that is that you need to just kind of open up a bit to your partner emotionally. And the first time you do it, and it's kind of a pressing issue. You're kind of in a hurry. You don't have like forever to figure it out, and you kind of have to start, and it's a process, okay? You kind of have to start now or very soon. So the first time you're going to do it, it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to just bare your entire soul, even though you might feel this way, okay? But you do need to kind of say something that's more vulnerable and more authentic so that your partner can hear you out and connect with you, because they're going to sense your authenticity and they're going to be like, oh, finally, I feel like I'm connecting to the person I'm actually dating, right? And not like the kind of front or mask that you're putting on to defend yourself, okay? Yeah. And again, like, it's not going to be perfect. You might feel, I mean, is there a perfect way to express emotions? I don't think so, but it's like you're going to feel a bit clumsy about this because this is new to you. That's what the Princess of Cups represents, right? Because with the Court cards, you first start with the Page, which are the princesses in this deck, and then you have the Knight, and then you have the Queen and the King. And the Queen and the King are the more mature, masterful, energies that know what they're doing and have experience in what they're doing. And the Page is the first one. It can even represent children or the inner child. So you're barely starting to open up, but that's okay. And for now, that is enough, because I think you have to kind of go to your partner and to your person and be like, hey, I am hurting. I'm kind of freaking out. This is kind of what's happening for me. I think that I put up this front and have these coping strategies that I don't really think about. I just do them because I'm protecting myself. But I really do love you. I really care about you, and I don't want this to fail. But I'm kind of struggling to figure out how I can mend this. But I think I have to do some inner work and confront my fears of vulnerability. And I want to start doing that with you. And I want to make some progress. Okay, that's kind of what you have to tell them in your own words, of course. But that's kind of the leap of faith you have to first take. And you may want to do something like tell them like, oh, I'm gonna find a therapist or reach out to someone who's going to help me, and then actually do that thing so that they can see you're really trying to change, okay? And you're really trying to put effort so that you can connect with them more authentically, because that's what they want. They love you, okay? They don't want to break up either, but it's just that they're wondering if that's their only solution now, okay? But if you open up to them like this, I think you'll be good. And if you obviously follow through with what you tell them during this first discussion, yeah, lay down the arms. Is that what? Lay down the weapons, I think is what I wanted to say, right? Because I think you're kind of at war or in competition with your partner in a way that's like not necessary, and they're tired of it. You're tired of it. It's like, let's pull up the white flag. It's like easier for you to go at war metaphorically and tear someone down than actually just tell them how you feel and let them see a bit of you. Then with the Hermit, clarified by the King of Pentacles in reverse, the Hermit is about taking time on your own, for yourself. Usually it's in a literal way, like being alone or going in hermit mode. And with the King of Pentacles in reverse, it could mean taking a break from work for whatever reason, okay? And kind of hibernating a little bit. Because with the Hermit, the message is that you have all the answers within yourself, and you need to get to know yourself better. You need to connect to your inner wisdom. And you can only do that if you retreat in your shell a little bit. And you also need to rest, okay? I think you've been working really hard. You've been working a lot, and you've been making great progress in your career. That's really great. It's a thing to celebrate, but then it's like, you have to take care of yourself and focus on other parts of yourself right now, because other parts of you need the help, the time, the energy, the effort, okay? Yes. With, and yeah, the Hermit, yeah. Can also be like a coach or a therapist here. And I think you could be into hustle culture even, or just very, very, very focused on finances. And right now it's like, don't stop always talking or thinking about your money, and care for yourself. And I know that can be uncomfortable or scary, but it's like, you're gonna be fine, okay? You're gonna be fine when it comes to that. Your partner might even kind of help you financially through this if they know that that's what you're doing. They might be impressed if you're like, actually I'm taking a break from work to do that, and they know that usually you don't do that, and they're like, oh wow. They're like, great, like that means that they're putting the work into this and they really meant what they said to me. So it's gonna help rebuild the trust between you two. With the Five of Wands in reverse, clarified by the Star in reverse, you think this is hopeless, okay? Or you're scared that this is hopeless, which is, we've talked about this before. It is not. The thing is, the Five of Wands upright is about fighting and arguing in a way where it's chaotic and you're not even hearing or listening to what the other person is saying. You're just kind of adding your own scream or your own bleh to the thing. Which is why it's so not constructive and nothing comes out of it. And with the Star in reverse here, this is kind of saying, like, if you continue on that path of always arguing or just always not hearing each other out, like, it would be hopeless. There's nothing that can come out of this if you continue on that path. Like, that's not how this has to be solved. You have to figure out a new approach, which we've talked about already. But with the King of Cups finally and the Ten of Cups, I mean, this is really beautiful energy, and I'm so happy to see that for you. I really see this as a success, okay? Like, if you want to, whatever it is that you would like, okay, which is probably mending this relationship, I think you will be successful. This is a really, obviously it's not like, tarot is not like 100% yes or no type of thing, because you have free will within that. But if you follow through all these steps, you put the effort in, you really work on it, like, this is possible, and you can absolutely achieve this and mend the relationship and have it all with this person. You could even, like, get married if that's not the case already, okay? And it could really, really be your person, because first of all, they are your King of Cups, and regardless of gender, this is about energy. And we did say earlier, like, with the Three of Cups, like, they are very emotionally intelligent. They are good at communicating their feelings. They're good at being aware of what they're feeling, okay? They could have, whether their childhood has allowed them to kind of have this earlier in life than most people, or they've done a lot of inner work already, or both of that. Yes, this is easier for them right now than for you, and they're okay with you just being a page right now at this level because they know you can continue evolving. And they're both the cup suit, right? So at least when you're in this energy, you're going to be on the same wavelength with the same goal. And that's really important for them. And this is also, you also have the potential of reaching this super mature, masterful energy of the King of Cups with your emotions, with your spirituality, okay? And feeling very confident, strong, and secure emotionally within yourself and your heart. That's very, and in your body, that's very, very beautiful. And I'm so happy to see that for you. And the Ten of Cups, I mean, it's a card that you always want to get in a love reading, okay? It's kind of always great, especially upright like this. It speaks of it's just having it all emotionally, just having it all, every single thing that you've dreamed of in your emotional and in your love life, having every single thing that you've ever dreamed of in great harmony. It can also speak of, so it's usually about like a loving, solid partnership, and it can also speak of like having a family with this person, if that's relevant or that's something that you would ever want to have. And whatever family means to you, right? It doesn't have to be human children. It can, of course, but it can be other things like pets or whatever else. Yeah, okay, I love that for you. And we're going to end this reading with some oracle cards. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This, okay, I'm just gonna pull all the cards, but you're going to understand. Why are all these cards in reverse? Oh, interesting. This deck, I mean, it's not that new. I've had it for a couple months, but I've almost never used it. This is crazy. Just want to have some advice or additional messages for you. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not necessarily going to interpret the reversals. Okay, so the first card that came through, why I freaked out. This card literally says children. Kids, that's what this means. Children. I love when stuff like that happens. I didn't even know there was a card like this in this deck. I mean, I'm freaking out. So again, if you have kids with this person or you want to have kids with this person, this is a kind of a confirmation that yes, this is possible, and this will probably happen if you are able to kind of go through the hurdle that you're experiencing right now in your relationship. Okay, children. Okay. Here we have a message to send, as if it, in a way, like someone or something has a message for you. And this deck is actually about mediumship, and with this card coming out right next to kids, I was hearing like spirit babies, which is interesting. It's not really something I talk about usually, or that I'm really into personally, but it's the idea that like it works with reincarnation and understanding the souls, and the idea that like the future kid that you're going to have that isn't born yet is in the spirit world and can already be connected to you potentially, and then sometimes they have messages for you through kind of psychic messaging or mediumship messaging, so that could be relevant here. Do with that what you will, okay, whether you choose to believe in that or not, or whether you choose that that's something you're interested in or not. But I mean, wow. Here we have education. So maybe there's something about you going back to school, or maybe there's something you want to figure out, like if you have kids right now, maybe like their education, either like how you educate them or their education at school is something you need to focus on right now, or there's something to kind of fix or rearrange that's not going through exactly the way you want it to. Or if you don't have kids yet but you do want them soon or eventually, you might want to think about how would you like to educate them, like what kind of values would you want them to have, how would you make that happen to give them those values, and what kind of environment, what kind of parents do you want them to have, and think about all those things so it's more tangible, okay? So figure that out before you have a kid, if you don't have one and you want to. Here we have forgiveness and respect. And here, pardon in French is both like forgiveness and also saying like I'm sorry. Okay, so there's that, and respect. And this is on like the King of Cups card, so I think that that's something that like needs to happen within this relationship, like saying sorry, both and restoring respect between the two of you, and forgiving each other. And that is possible, but what I'm seeing as well is that you might need to apologize to this person and kind of earn their forgiveness, maybe vice versa, okay? But this reading is about you, so I'm focusing on you more. But what I'm seeing is that you also need to apologize and regain forgiveness from yourself, the parts of yourself that you've been silencing. And you need to kind of rebuild not only the trust within your relationship, but in the relationship with yourself. And that's where the respect card comes through as well. And last but not least, we have guide. And again, to me, this is kind of another sign that like you need a guide. Okay, so you need like a counselor, a coach, a therapist, someone who's going to be your guide. And you can either kind of find them on your own. We have soon here. You can either find them on your own, or you can ask the universe to send one to you. I can be that guide as well, right? Through tarot readings, through coaching, because I do coaching, but up to you. But yes, this is something, just ask. If you don't have one right now, you're like, how do I find them? Just ask the universe, send me a guide that can help me with this. That would be good for me right now, and they will do so. I promise. And I just pulled the deck to help. So ask the universe for help and you will receive. Okay, Scorpio, so I'm gonna end your reading here. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that was insightful and helpful. If it was, you can let me know by liking this video. You can leave me a comment. I love connecting with you. You can subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more from me. Welcome to the family. And if you do subscribe, there's like a higher likelihood that my next readings will be for you, because you'll be part of the collective that I always naturally channel for, okay? If you'd like to tip me or donate to the channel, there's a link to do that down below. And if you'd like to work with me privately, there's a link for you to book that as well down below. I do tarot readings a bit like this. I also do channeled readings, mediumship readings. I do astrology readings. I'm an astrologer, and I also do life coaching, as I mentioned. So all the informations and ways to book that will be down below. Check that out if you're interested. But either way, thank you for being here. I wish you the best and sending you lots of love, and I will see you next time. Bye!